Hi, friends. So, this is a revolutionary perspective about life, being, and aliveness that has nothing to do with tried and true psychological or spiritual doctrines or explanations, or advice about how to improve your life experience. To most minds, this will occur as a radical suggestion. So the invitation here is to listen with your being. Stay open to a whole new view and the vast unknown. And let it bypass the usual dogmatic or analytical mind to the place where you just feel an undeniable, inescapable resonance with what is, the natural reality. The radical suggestion is there is only being, only wholeness. It is everything, so nothing lies outside of it. In being, out of nothing, everything appears to arise. Infinite possibilities. One possibility that can arise is an idea of separateness. Being, dreaming that it's a separate individual. And a very convincing feeling that being must go looking for itself, and wholeness must reattain being whole or unicity. A convincing, energetically held appearance that there isn't only being and wholeness. So what appears is this apparent separate individual called the dreamer. And the dreamer's only function is to dream as a separate individual, just like how in your night dreams, a dream you appears out of nothing. As this appears, an accompanying sensation appears to arise. An undercurrent or a feeling of discomfort, of loss, of abandonment, directly out of feeling separate. So you immediately become the seeker. And the feeling you have to make an effort to get somewhere, to become. But it's just a dream, a story, the apparent story of being, seeking being, taking place in being, not in some illusory you. The secret of life remains thoroughly hidden as long as there's a someone looking for it. When there is no one, automatically, there is only being. Since this separateness is just an appearance in nothing, nothing has ever been lost. Nothing needs to be attained. Nothing has been abandoned by or is ever unworthy of wholeness. And this is already the natural reality, right now. Not after X amount of paths, practices, and purifications by an illusory separate one. Not after the grace of Guru or God, from which no one is separate or inferior to. This freedom, this liberation is here right now. And here, we are not teaching, recommending, or practicing anything. No answers, methods, or solutions are being offered, either to get enlightened or to improve your life experience. We're simply sharing a conducive space where this natural reality may be heard and recognized, opening a resonance and a possible remembrance of something you think you forgot, where a radical perceptive expansion from separateness back into boundless being has permission to take place. When there is a readiness, no one's readiness, it's possible something else can arise. A revolutionary possibility may be heard, that there is awakening from the dream. The apparent contraction can dissipate into boundlessness. But since this energetic shift apparently happens out of a sudden, unexpected, and uncausable absence of separation, it doesn't happen to anyone. There's no one left for it to happen to. Of course, it can't be the dreamer that awakens from the dream. Dream you can never be enlightened. Rather, the seeker suddenly is no more, revealing only the natural reality. This is liberation. Just like in your night dreams, when you wake up in the morning, it's never the dream you that awakens, it's the waking you. Your waking body-mind is simply one more object appearing to arise in being. Just a working mechanism that grows, works, gets conditioned, has feelings, thoughts, preferences, and habits. There's no one in there doing that. It's simply oneness arising as a body-mind organism that is convinced there is an entire world outside the host organism. It just responds and reacts to whatever's going on without any self-volition. It's all timeless being appearing as something seeming to happen. Now, we can talk about the pre-separate child and the subsequent conditioning, naming, schooling, competition with other separate ones, the insistence to achieve your own purpose and accomplishments in life that appear to engender and solidify this illusion of separateness. But in reality, there is no mechanism or reason for us feeling separate. It's just what's happening. Being appears to have a sort of fascination about it. I am separate. I must reunify, attain enlightenment. I must do this through my own free will and effort. It's just a fascinating dream. So it's being arising as totally fascinated by the idea of being separate and doing things. Simply spontaneous, unbridled delight in aliveness. This message is absolutely about the only thing that's permanent: being, aliveness, the vibrant aliveness of nothing being something. And the thing in all this is that it's very easy to get lost in the concepts about being and meing, about there being nothing happening to no one, no you, and lose the essence of this message. The most vital and relevant communication here is this vibrant aliveness of just what's happening, life itself. So the focus can be on the aliveness, how everything is alive out of nothing. Living, breathing, pleasuring, suffering, growing, decaying, dying. A moment by moment celebration of every thought, feeling, and event as stunning, amazing aliveness. And then the whole thing about there's no me, just what's happening to no one, is just incidental to that absolute passionate aliveness. This, all of this, everything that happens, is being's song of freedom through our bodies and senses. And so we relinquish all sacred texts, methods, and goals and come back to the natural reality of being, that there is no one to seek and nothing to attain. Better to starve the seeker by giving it nothing than, without the agenda to please it or give it something it can grasp onto, the seeker can finally collapse. Then the seeker isn't even recognized as a seeker. The seeker is finally recognized as being something in a dream story about seeking. This secret can only be shared with no agenda, expectations, or demands of any kind. Just the heartfelt joy of sharing this aliveness of being for no purpose and no meaning. And this gift, the most amazing of all gifts, that you never owned a life to begin with that needed defending, improving, working out, or getting enlightened. This is it. Liberation is an energetic shift. It's a shift from the contraction of being a someone, contracted into a separate body and ego with a world out there, back into the natural and very ordinary reality of there only being everything. The contraction expands out into everything, and this thing you thought you were dissolves back into everything. Thanks for joining me, and we'll talk again soon.